Ah, Urshifu, what could possibly make you better? Well, I mean, if my Dragapults were here, I'd put them up, but the removalists still haven't delivered them. Welcome back, everyone, to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today, as promised, we're going to be taking a look at Rapid Strike Urshifu paired up with Dragapult VMAX. This deck has received a lot of hype recently, so let's jump onto PTCGO and check it out. So this is our deck brought to you by Lucas Paglia, who was very successful with it in Hexters. It's obviously a slightly older version of the deck. There have been a number of large Battle Styles tournaments, and both of these cards are doing very, very well. But let's talk about them. Obviously, Rapid Strike Urshifu, incredibly good. Gale Thrust for 150 if it's just come from the bench, and G-Max Rapid Flow, 120 to 2 Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field. Very, very good attacker. We can supplement that damage by using Max Phantom on Dragapult VMAX, 130 damage to the active, and then 50 damage count, or 50 damage placed, sorry, 5 damage counters, not 50 damage counters, that's way too many. That's incredibly good, and we also have the ability to deal with Fire-type decks with Empoleon V, Swirling Size for 1 water and 2 colorless, does 130, and then moves an energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. That's really, really cool, because we've got a ton of different energy that we can use. We've got the Rapid Strike energy, which provides water and fighting, and 2 of them at that, as well as Horror Psychic, and 4 basic Psychic as well. And the best part about it is, if we attach 1 copy of Rapid Strike energy to our Rapid Strike Urshifu, we can attach any other energy in the deck to use G-Max Rapid Flow. You'll notice that it's 2 fighting and 1 colorless. The Rapid Strike energy does the 2 fighting for us. It's perfect. We've also got Octillery in support. I know people have been very, very hype on this card to try and get it into Rapid Strike decks. It is very, very good. There's a bunch of other stuff. The Fan of Waves is in this one as well. It's so, so good. Thank you, everyone who met that like target. I thought that 300 was ambitious. Apparently not. We absolutely crushed that like target. I'll tell you what, if we get to 500 likes on this video, I'm going to do some more budget stuff. Got about 4 or 5 budget deck ideas that I want to get to. So 500 likes and I will try and get those started for you tomorrow. Let's take this one out into the ladder and see if we can't get some games with it. Just looking at myself in the camera here, and I remember about 3 or 4 days ago I threatened that I would go and get a haircut, and I have not done that yet. So maybe that's something that I should do. Maybe that should have been the like target. We are playing up against ADP by the looks of it here. We have a really strong start. We can play down Power Plant, which is crippling against ADP early doors. The only thing we don't have access to is an energy, so the question is, do I gamble? Probably not. We just play it safe, get the Remoraid. We have the VMAX for both Dragapult and for Urshifu here, so as long as we can find a Rapid Strike energy next turn, we can start dealing some damage. So I'm feeling very comfortable in this particular matchup, and you'll notice that our Blastoise sleeves are persisting. Our opponent going for the distinguished gentleman in what's it called, Venusaur. I wish I had said that in one take rather than stumbling over it there. Oh goodness, it's the absolute curse of me is I think of something very funny to say, and then I don't say it right. What a distinguished gentleman is what I was, and it doesn't matter. Let's just let this go. It looks like our opponent has not done a huge amount here. They haven't been able to find ADP. So we are looking pretty good. We've got the VMAX, Dragapult, and the Urshifu. Did we not just comb you away, Eldegoss? Come on. That one of, we just shuffle back into the deck, just happened to shuffle it to the top. That's disappointing. We will research it into the bin. And we've found ourselves Octillery as well. Our opponent's saying well played. I don't know that this game is over just yet, mate. We've got the energy, which is good. Do we need to attach? I think we attach to the... we got a quick ball here. Let's quick ball away the com and grab something like a Crobat. We've got to draw 3 cards here and try and get a switch if we can. Air Balloon will do the job. We can get the Dragapult out of the active that way, and we can start dealing some damage. Let's Rapid Strike Search first. We'll grab another Urshifu, because that is a very strong attacker. Plus, we have the VMAX in our hand, so we might as well put that down. And then Gale Thrust, 120 damage because of the goggles. We are going to need to be careful of those. If we can remove them, that would be great. But I'm not too worried, to be honest. I think the damage, if it's on the bench, isn't affected. We'll wait and see. I think we still have the tool. Oh, we got a Corviknight here. Maybe we aren't looking at ADP. Maybe we're looking at a Corviknight VMAX deck, and that could create some genuine problems for us, because our deck is designed to half-hit things. And if they get their Cheryls going and they start to heal their Corviknight VMAX, then eventually they'll run over the top of us. So we do need to make sure that we're attacking either the basics on the bench, or we hit those Corviknights on a turn when we know that they cannot heal them. For example, maybe we can G-Max Rapid Flow, knock out a Whatsmajiggy on the bench, a Bronzong, and then deal 120 to the Corviknight, so our opponent has to take a little bit more of a risk if they want to heal with Cheryl. Looks like we're being Marnied, a bit disappointing. We lose our energy, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, this is fine. We've got a Tool Scrapper. I couldn't remember whether we played it, but we haven't, so that's a win. That'll get rid of the annoying tools in play, and the Escape Rope means that we can deal 150 damage. Obviously, with Gale Thrust, we can go from the Dragapult on the bench. It looks like our opponent missed Bronzor again, but also hasn't been able to attack yet. So I'm feeling very, very nice here. And we've got a Marnie, which is beautiful. Let's go for the Escape Rope. This card, genuinely, is one of the most impactful cards out of Battle Styles, I think. It's one of those cards that forces your opponent to make a decision. And sometimes your opponent makes the wrong decision and you win the game. It's a way of integrating skill into the game once more. Now, for this, for example, is potentially a mistake from our opponent, because they've promoted the Crobat. We could maybe take advantage of this. Let's grab ourselves a Dragapult, I suppose. Do we need it on the field? Probably not. Let's Marnie it away to the bottom of the deck. Can we get an energy? We didn't top deck any, but we can Octillery search for it if we wish. I think that is actually okay. What we could do here is we could take a knockout with Gale Thrust, but I actually like taking the knockout with G-Max Rapid Flow here. Because not only will we knock out the Crobat in the active, but we can also knock out that Zacian that's on the bench, which is really, really strong for us. Now, there's an argument we could have knocked out that one and then used another method to try and take the last couple of prizes. I don't know, maybe we Gale Thrust into the active and then maybe we try and take the knockout later with G-Max Rapid Flow, but I feel like that's probably the most impactful thing we can do, especially since our opponent doesn't have anything set up yet. And next turn, we can put some damage on the field. We can use Dragapult if we want. We can go into Urshifu again with Octillery because we've got switches in hand. We are feeling pretty good here. And as long as our opponent continues to stumble the way that they've been stumbling, we will go on to win this game, because there's only so much healing our opponent can put out. They need to find Bronzor this turn. And that's going to be what you'd imagine they're looking for off of this Pokecom. Goes a Zacian into the deck, and we'll see a Bronzor come out, I have no doubt. If we can knock this Bronzor out, firstly, we're one prize away from winning the game. But secondly, we should be good to try and half hit this Corviknight multiple times. Although we could gamble a little bit if we want to as well. And let's just switch into the Dragapult, because that's definitely what's happening. Let's Rapid Strike search. We can get ourselves that Rapid Strike energy again. If we attach that to the bench, we're definitely dealing 150. I think that the most intelligent thing for us to do is just to thin out a little bit. We could potentially Marnie. I'm not sure if I want to. I think it's probably right. We lose the energy from our hand, but we also reduce the chance of our opponent having access to an evolution, which is fantastic. We've got energy here anyway. So now the moment of truth. I mean, we can play the Escape Rope and put some pressure on this way. I think this is actually going to give us a guaranteed win next turn, unless they remove some energy. So let's see how we go. If they promote the Bronzor, then we can half it into the Corviknight. We should be fine. They're going for the Zacian, which means I can hit into it with Gale Thrust, do 150, and then next turn, an energy attachment wins me the game. So I think that Escape Rope is an incredibly strong option there. Maybe I shouldn't have doubted myself clicking that button, but that's okay. We need 1 energy. We can't search for it with Octillery, so if we get Marnied, we'll have to draw into it. But we can Octillery for Karina's Focus, which we have in our hand. That is one of the really, really strong things about Octillery, is that sometimes you're just missing one piece, and we can find it. With Octillery, it's a search for Urshifu, it's a search for the energy, it's a search for a Karina, and here we're being Marnied. If we don't draw an energy off of this Marnie, we can at least find a Karina 100% certain. So let's see what we draw. Hopefully we get an energy. We don't. We've actually got a full hand of supporters, so it's not a problem here. If we didn't have any supporter, though, we could have gone with the Octillery, which would have given us a pretty solid chance. Alrighty, it comes to this. Can we research into an energy? We can Octillery here and thin a little bit. We obviously don't want cards like Karina or Urshifu in our... I think actually Urshifu's... Karina's probably better, because if we draw into Urshifu, we can at least play it down and then use Crobat. Let's switch into the Dragapult just in case we miss. We can then deal some damage. Actually, we can just boss. Oh. Whoops. I feel bad. I got tunnel vision. How good's this deck though, right? That was pretty convincing. Let's have another one. Alrighty, Dragapult in the active, Dragapult in the hand. Look at this, we've found ourselves a V again, and we can attach, and it looks like we're playing up against another Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. So we are in a very, very strong position here to win this game. Be careful though, when you do come up against Rapid Strike Urshifu, even though we have the Dragapult which hits for weakness, they probably play a copy of Jirachi GX, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's coming out now. No, a Crobat. Okay, so maybe they've already got the Jirachi in hand, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, they did. There it is. I was joking. You didn't have to do that. So Jirachi GX removes Psychic Weakness from Pokemon. It means that, unfortunately, we will not be hitting Urshifu for weakness here, but we do have a lot of flexibility with our damage, which means we can set up knockouts on benched Pokemon quite easily with our deck. So that Jirachi, for example, if we place 4 damage counters on it with Dragapult VMAX's attack, then that means that down the track at some point we can Urshifu VMAX and knock that out ourselves with the old... We just top deck the energy. This is perfect. And just draw with research. We can knock it out with G-Max Rapid Flow. I was struggling to remember the name of the attack. Goodness gracious me, what do we got here? We've got a VMAX, we've got Crobat, we've got Quick Ball. There's so many options here. I think we can calm the VMAX away. I don't really want the Dragapult VMAX at the moment. I'd prefer the Urshifu. We can also Quick Ball away one of these cards. I feel like maybe the Crobat to grab a Remoraid, because we do want that Octillery to come into play pretty soon. We do have Karina's Focus, and we can play out the rest of our hand. Let's knock this Jirachi out. I think our best damage placement here is 4 onto the Jirachi, and then 1 on something else, maybe the Zigzagoon. Let's just go with that. That 10 damage really isn't as impactful as the 4 that are on the Jirachi. And we managed to unprize another Psychic Energy, which is very, very good for us. So this means here, if this Zigzagoon stays in play, we can potentially knock it out in a couple of turns. Obviously, Scoop Up Net is a card that our opponent likely plays. We can also put on a bit of pressure with Urshifu ourselves. We have Mew, so we can stop them from getting value from G-Max Rapid Flow. But then again, they probably play Mew as well, so we need to be careful of that too. And we are being Gale Thrusted here, which is quite disappointing. But it's not the end of the world. That Zigzagoon's frustrating. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that card very quickly. So we take 120 because we resist, and we've actually top-decked into the Quick Ball here, which is beautiful. Let's get ourselves that Mew I was talking about. And then we can switch into the Urshifu and Karina for a full 6 cards. This is a very, very nice turn for us. And then we can Gale Thrust and put on some pressure of our own. You have a good deck. Thank you very much, Speedy Mudkip. Appreciate it. And that's something as well that I didn't mention, is Dragapult VMAX resists Urshifu, right? So even though the maths seems pretty good, right? The 150 plus 150 plus a couple of Zigzagoon ticks, that seems like good math. It's actually not that good, because it gets reduced by 30 thanks to the resistance. And it means we can go into Dragapult here off of the escape rope with absolutely no fear. which is really, really good. It means we've got the switch in hand, which is fine. We've got Horror Psychics. We can attach that to Urshifu if we want to. We are looking incredibly strong. We could even knock out Crobat and Jirachi this turn if we want to for 4 prizes. The problem that we're having is that we have 5 prizes remaining. We don't want to overpay for all of our stuff here. It looks like they're going to knock the Mew out. So they're going to try and use their first attack, Gale whatever. What's it called? Gale Thrust? Gale Thrust to knock out the Mew, which is frustrating, but you know, at least it's better than getting Rapid Flowed this turn. Good grief, Mitch. Come on, man. Get your act together. So that's at least good. What we could potentially do is we could try and set up a G-Max Rapid Flow for the turn after this one, if we wanted to. That could be an option, but okay, well, I was about to say we need to be afraid of a Mew. We don't need to be afraid of Mew now, but they could scoop up the Zigzagoon and put the Mew down, so it's kind of awkward. I'm not sure how this one's going to pan out, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know. Reset stamp is average. That changes a number of things. Let's just see what we get off of this. Okay, so it's not too bad. We don't need to play the money if we don't want to. They've got 2-3 cards in hand. I'm going to promote the Dragapult V, and we'll see what we can come up with here. Another Rapid Strike energy is very good. Let's Quick Ball. What can we get here? We get Karina, we can get Research with an Eldegoss. I don't think that's valuable. Let's grab a Crobat, I think. Yeah, let's grab a Crobat, because we can play out most of the cards in our hand here. I don't really want to play the Marnie. Let's switch. Let's play the Crobat down. Do we play the Dragapult? Probably not. We don't really need to. There's a whole bunch of cards there that are decent, but not great. Let's, do I Marnie, or do I Research? Do I support her at all? I could just hit into this Urshifu and then win next turn with G-Max Rapid Flow, actually. So I think let's just Gale Thrust. I think that's fine. I probably should have researched there. If I was going to Gale Thrust, I should probably research just to thin cards out of my hand, give myself the best chance of getting the cards that I need. But since my opponent doesn't have Mew, I can potentially win the game next turn with a G-Max Rapid Flow. If that doesn't happen, the most amount of damage that they're realistically doing to me this turn is 150. I can go up with the Dragapult VMAX, attack into whatever, and knock this Urshifu out. And that will give me, that'll give me anything, really. Like, that'll give me the win, realistically. Here's the Quick Ball, so they're going for the Mew now, so that's going to be frustrating. Another Urshifu, okay. So no Mew. No Mew. Either they didn't have it or it was prized. So I think this just means that we win the game. Right? Because we should be able to G-Max Rapid Flow 120 onto the Urshifu VMAX and 120 onto the... I think we just go into the Dragapult V here. I don't think it ever really matters. The VMAX, we can just attach a retreat next turn. Because, yeah, we just do 120 to the VMAX, we do 120 to the Jirachi, and we take 5 prizes and win the game. I think that's pretty much it. Probably should have gone into the other V, to be honest. Okay, well. I think we're gonna do this one, guys. Here's the G-Max Rapid Flow from them. Not a lot for us to worry about. And I mean, we could do pretty much anything that we want to here. But I think the best thing to do is just to go into the attacker that's going to win us the game. So, we'll wait our turn patiently. Our opponent takes 1 prize, and we've got boss's orders off the top deck. We can do literally anything here. Let's retreat into the VMAX. We can G-Max Rapid Flow. We'll take our 5 prizes in 1 turn. Thank you very much. I love this deck. I think this deck is genuinely very, very strong. It's got a few kinks to work out. It's not quite perfect yet, but it is definitely one to look out for if you're playing on the ladder on PTCGO. So no OG 150 Pokemon to deal with today, just a bunch of thank yous. Appreciate it. Dadbot, Azazel, Fernando, Yolo Diego, Stephen, and Agent Abel, as well as all of my Mega Sableye members. If you'd like to become a member of the channel and support me a little bit, just a tiny little bit, with a couple of bucks here or there, then, you know, down in the description there's a link. Don't feel obliged. Right? If you dropped it and you wouldn't care about it, then maybe send it my way. But if you don't want to, don't feel like you have to. This is a free service that I'm providing. Thank you everyone for coming along. Don't forget that 500 like target. Hopefully we can hit it. That would be genuinely impressive. And I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.